around my story.
My love betrayed me. Episode: a boy discovers his girlfriend cheating on him with his brother. I feel very upset and don't know how I did that. Let me tell you what happened to me. What happened to us. I'm Mark. My story began when I met a beautiful girl with yellow hair and a very soft and gentle voice. I met her in the motor race that I always go to, as I had no competitor in driving it. I used to take my brother Lucas with me every time I went, but he didn't like to do anything other than sit and encourage me. He used to come, clap, drink Pepsi, and go home alone. He was a strange young man. I don't know if he was introverted or crazy. He loved poetry and drawing, my exact opposite. As for me, of course I don't need to tell you. On race days, girls were around me everywhere, and I did not know how to get rid of them. Screaming, following, and chasing me because I won. The winner always wins in everything, love and life. But one day, I noticed a very beautiful girl standing far away, wiping away the tears of another who lost the race. She attracted me a lot, so I decided to make a trick to make her chase me, or at least take care of me. But I had to hide from these crazy girls, and I entered the bathroom, cut off my clothes, and hit myself with 2 very hard punches. First I came out, the girls screamed, not out of joy, but they were afraid of my appearance. Charlotte was as beautiful as the stars among all the girls. She approached me and asked me about who had done this to me, and I described the boy she was standing with so she could forget him completely. I couldn't describe how she looked at this time. Her eyes sparkled, her hands shaking. She turned around in the stadium, and she didn't find him in the crowd, as if he had disappeared. Her feeling of pity for him changed became for me, and I was able to hug her when I wrapped my arms around her, as she helped me after I seemed to be dizzy. Then I was a pillion passenger in her motorcycle. We flew quickly, and when we got home, Lucas opened for us and freaked out, and he forgot the poor girl at the door. So I entered behind me, left my bag, and was about to leave. But I won't let her go, and I screamed, Lucas. And Lucas was disturbed and talking to me, but I didn't care, and was focusing on this beautiful girl who came back to me quickly as soon as I cried out of pain. Then Lucas noticed her and gave her juice and applied poultices to me. Since then, I and Charlotte became friends. Every day we hang out together, and I felt the tenderness and the kindness of her heart. I became much attached to her and loved her. She also kept bringing me presents, and we kept having dinner together, me, her, and Lucas. When we finish dinner, Lucas goes playing music and painting, and Charlotte and I enjoy watching a movie together. We had good times, couldn't be forgotten. But one evening, I went to the bathroom, and when I came back, I didn't find Charlotte. I looked for her in the whole house, and finally, I found her opening the door of Lucas's room, watching him. I approached her and said, "What's wrong, my dear? Are you bored? Let's go out tonight if you like." She nodded her head, and we spent the whole evening dancing, loving, and laughing. The next day was my birthday, and I wanted to know whether she remembers it or not. That day, Lucas was so busy. He had a lot of calls and messages, so I thought he fell in love. I entered his room, took his mobile, and found a video of Charlotte saying that she did not want to be with me because she loved him, and she will tell me that today, as her love for me has ended. I was shocked, felt dizzy, and I felt that there was something below. It was a brown leather wallet she brought him, like the one she brought me. I opened it and found their picture in it. So I decided to kill them both, and I made them a trap. I called her and asked her to come early at night because I invited my friends to my birthday, and I asked Lucas to celebrate with me. He agreed and started to prepare the cake himself. When she came, I opened the door for her. She entered, and it was dark in the house, as if a festive atmosphere. As soon as she entered, I called Lucas and asked them to wait for me to get the juice. Because they are the two I love the most, and the two who loved me the most. And they drank the juice after I put the poison in it. After 2 sips of it, they fainted, so I tied them together with a rope. I got into the car and threw them into the lake closest to our house. I still feel that I did not take revenge for their betrayal, but I became miserable. Where are Lucas's joy and Charlotte's love? I am alone. Can you tell me how to repent? I don't know what to do.
Hi, my name is Lisa. Every day, I receive hundreds of flower bouquets and a lot of chocolates, endless amount of food, and a lot of party invitations, a million messages from social media accounts, and a lot of very expensive gifts, like jewelries, designer clothes, bags, and perfumes. But no, they're not for me. They're for my boss. My boss, Ellen, is a former beauty queen. I think she's just a little bit older than I am. She owns a cosmetics company and she is so successful. Not to mention, she's the most beautiful woman I have ever seen. No wonder a lot of guys are head over heels for her. And as her assistant, I get to be the one to reject him. Also, if I'm lucky and she's in the mood, she'll let me have the gifts that came from her fans. That's why I have signature clothes, shoes, bags, and perfumes that I have nothing to use for. Good thing is, we have the same size, and we're the same height. Okay, back to Ellen. She's dating somebody right now. His name is John, but I'm pretty sure she's cheating on him. She once told me that she does not really like John because he's boring. But me, I like John. He's a good guy. He always greets me when he sees me around. It's a big deal for me because I get used to being ignored by people all the time. But not John. He always smiles at me. I'm not the type of woman you will notice across the room. Well, it could mean the opposite for not a very good reason. Thanks to this big scar I have on my face since birth. Having said that, I've never had any guys who were serious about me. Either taking me out on a date just to pull a prank on me, or just want to win a bet. Unlike John with Ellen, I can see that he's super in love with her, while Ellen is just pretending because of money. John's family owns a chain of malls. Yes, he is much richer than she is. One time, Ellen said she wants to go to the plastic surgery clinic. I told her she does not need a plastic surgery. She just said, "Just go with me, silly." So I just followed her. Turns out, she's having an affair with the plastic surgeon. His name is Mike, and she's been with him ever since she and John became together 2 years ago. The surgeon looks arrogant, not like John, who's full of compassion. One time, Mike told Ellen that he can remove the scar on my face. Ellen just laughed and said, "Just let her be. I think that's her lucky charm." I was hurt, and I think what she said was mean, but I just brushed it off and laughed with them. Ellen is really mean, but at least she pays me well. If not for her, my mom's life would not be extended. I needed a lot of money for her operation a couple of years ago. Ellen helped me through all of it. On the other hand, I must also say that my life is hell because Ellen doesn't know a single thing about organizing. And I believe that I'm the sole reason why her company is still up and running. Not to brag, but I think 80% of the reason why she's successful is because of me. 20% is because of her looks and beauty. Yet of course, nobody knows that except her and me. Ellen says I owe my life to her. She always says that if I dare leave her, she will have another scar to my face, which is really mean. But I don't hate her. I've actually learned to love her, and I agree that I have a great life because of her. She let me live in the townhouse she bought. She gave me a car. Besides, she's always given me nice things. What more can I ask for, right? Then one day, John told me that he's planning to propose to Ellen. I got worried, and to be honest, I was not really happy about it. I want to tell John that Ellen does not feel the same way about him, and she probably would just say no. And if ever she says yes, I know that she's only after his money. I suddenly felt sad. How I wish a man like him would come to me like this. "Lisa, will you..." My eyes got so big, I thought he was gonna propose to me. "Will you help me plan the proposal?" John asked. "Oh, of course. It would be my pleasure, John. He just smiled at me. This man is really simple and down to earth. So I helped him plan the proposal, even though I knew it would not be a very good idea. I don't know how many times I contemplated on telling him the truth, that Ellen is cheating on him. But I don't think it's my place. I should not meddle in their life. But am I doing the right thing? Would I really let this man marry a woman who does not really love him? John deserves more than Ellen. Actually, he deserves someone like me. Someone who will be there for him and take care of him forever. Oh, silly me, what am I thinking? But seriously, I need to do something. So I decided to try and see what Ellen's reaction would be. When I asked her, "What if John proposes to you anytime?" she just said, "Really? That would be awesome." Her plan is to get married to him, get divorced, and get half his billions. What an evil plan. I don't want that to happen. Neither does Mike. One time at an event, Mike and I got the chance to talk, and he said he'd like to meet me at his office on Saturday at 9 a.m. And so I went there. Mike made an offer that is very tempting, but I had to refuse it for so many reasons. He wants me to pretend to be Ellen. He said he would fix my face and be Ellen for 6 months. Why? I asked him. I needed to know why I had to pretend to be Ellen, because that doesn't make any sense. I had to ask Ellen, and I finally learned the truth. Ellen is pregnant. She's pregnant with Mike's baby, and her tummy is already showing. She doesn't want her plans to be ruined, so the plan is she would have me pretend to be her while she and Mike go somewhere far, far away to give birth to their baby quietly. They don't want John to know because then the engagement would not happen. The engagement is set to be tonight. I planned it, so of course everything is perfect already. But I told John to postpone it. I can't do it. My mind is eating the best of me. I just told John that this is not the best time to propose because Ellen is not in a very good place right now. When Ellen learned about it, she got super mad. She threw me out of the house that she gave me, took back the car and the things that she gave me as well. But I know things will be better. I have savings, and I could use that to build my life again. I could find a new apartment, I could buy a cheap car and a few cheap clothes and bags. I motivated myself and I told myself multiple times that everything should be alright. I even met a guy named Alan, my next door neighbor. He's been nice and we went out a couple of times already. I think he likes me. It's about time I got a boyfriend. I miss John though. He's calling me all the time. But I don't want to have any connection to Ellen and her sick mind anymore, so I don't answer his calls. One time my sister called me in the middle of the night and said that my mom was brought into the hospital and that they needed a lot of money for the operation and the care she would need after. So I ran to the bank with Alan and I withdrew all the money that I had left, which is not enough, but under the bed and only Alan knows where I put it. That night, Alan decided to stay the night. He spent the night and something intimate happened. I woke up with a smile on my face which quickly got replaced with tears. Alan left with all of my money. He also took all of my jewelry, my wallet, and even my cell phone. Desperate as I was, I went to Mike's office. I told him and Ellen that I'm very sorry for running away. I told them that I really need money because my mom is sick again, and it's worse than ever. They said they're gonna pay me good money if I do as they say. I thought, why not? I would have John, I would be pretty, I would be able to save my mother's life, and I would have a good life. And so I made a deal with them. I'll pretend to be Ellen for a year. It should give them enough time to give birth and settle everything before going back home. She said I have to make sure that John would not call it quits. She also said that I just have to delay the engagement for a year because of course, if a grand wedding should happen, Ellen would want to be the bride. And that would also save us from all the legal matters that we might have to face, including fraud, among other things. So Ellen and Mike left the country. I was left alone with John. The plastic surgery was successful. I look like Ellen now. I'm very pretty. I have a beautiful face, but I'm not happy. Until the day came that I got to be with John. At first, I had a hard time pretending to be Ellen. But with the business side, it's fine. I'm familiar with everything because I'm basically the one running it. John introduced me to his family. I fell for him even more when I knew that John was a miracle baby. His family is so sweet. I fell in love with all of them. I wonder why Ellen did not appreciate any of this. Then, the biggest surprise of all. His father announced that he's given me a share. Okay, let me talk it down a little. Well, his father decided to give me a mall. Yes, a freaking mall. Well, I know it's not really for me, it's for Ellen, but I'm happy. The night ended and John and I were left alone in the garden. We laid down on the grass and John was surprised. He said that the Ellen he knows would not do that. Oops, did I do something wrong? He looked me in the eye and he hugged me. His hug was so sweet. It's the hug that I know I would not get used to even for a lifetime. I love you, Ellen, he said. I love you too, John. My heart is breaking a little because I mean it to me as Lisa. Do you really love me? He asked. Of course I do, I said. He's making me nervous. If I ask you to marry me tomorrow, will you say yes? He asked. He smiled and took out a ring. And the diamond was so beautiful. It was so big. It's really beautiful. But if this is real and it's really meant for me, I won't mind how big the diamond is. I planned proposing to you for a long time now, Ellen. I even asked for Lisa's help. How I wish she could see this, he said. So, will you marry me, Ellen? He asked. My mind says, oh no, but my heart says, yes.